Hello and Assalamu alaikum to all my viewers, especially the youngsters planning to join in the armed forces and now waiting for the preliminary test. This is Gen Sarwar and you are watching Sarwar's Chronicle. In the series of career talks, today I'll talk to you about the Viva-Voci exam. I plan to have it in two different sessions. First one being how one should prepare for this event, and second one will focus on likely Viva questions and how to tackle those. It will be the follow-up session. Trust me, even if you ask me to face an interview today, I will be stressed, and so will it be for everyone. I'm saying it very candidly. Having served in the highest office, I saw how people feel and experience this kind of events. So it will be better if you can introspect a little to appreciate where we stand and how is our grooming like and how well we have prepared for. Perhaps you are that typical guy who shied away from asking questions in the classroom, maybe failed to submit your home task timely, tried to hide yourself from the teacher so that you don't have to answer any questions, and always enjoyed sitting in the back bench, right? Perhaps most of these candidates studied in some schools and colleges in the district or small towns and haven't had much opportunities to participate in the public speaking, debate or extempore speech or in any other extracurricular activities. Except a few exclusively run schools and colleges, students don't really get such opportunities even in the capital. And you aren't at all responsible for this. If anything and anyone is to be blamed for, it is the education system that prepares students to memorize things and vomit in the exam hall instead of giving them a skill to lead life. This is a serious lacuna in our education system, for which most of our students passing from the college and universities land up in the foreign lands and doing all odd jobs. Quite conversely, these migrant workers working so hard to boost our reserve by sending their hard-earned remittance. But what are we doing for them? Back in 1993, when serving as a peacekeeper in Kuwait, I saw how our people are cleaning streets and toilets, and now being in the 21st century. They couldn't find anything better. Somewhere down the line, we have serious deficit in our love for the country. Otherwise, why couldn't we reverse this situation after so many years? We need to seriously rethink about this. Hope someday we give the right skills to our migrant workers, not only to earn money, but dignity. So most of the students coming out from the college and universities are very mediocre type and represent majority aspirants. Now, suddenly up against a group of British officers who would be interviewing you should be a stressful event. At least I recall it in the same way. I had my preliminary test in the logistic area headquarters in Dhaka cantonment. I still remember on the Viva day, there were a few smarty guys contemplating as if they knew everything, while others like me had been watching in anticipation. A few came out down and sized, making a long face, whatever. I remained focused and I made it. So if you don't prepare for it, this might turn out to be a non-starter for you. So let's try and figure out the challenges first, then it will be easier for you to face it. Just think over the event and try to visualize what all can happen during the interview. Maybe you entered the room and taken your seat, comfortably poised, and you're able to connect with the interviewing officers and responding well to the questions. This should be an ideal situation for any candidate. So no complaint. Next, you know the answer, but not being able to convey your points to the interviewer, starting to find words or fumbling. So this is probably the language issue and skill problem. You don't know the answer. Maybe in the third case, you don't know the answer and you are also at the same time you are very shaky and uneasy. It clearly shows that you lack both in knowledge and confidence. Again, it may happen so that you are a chatterbox kind of character among your friends, but get freezed in front of the board. And you mess up things, can't organize your thoughts and so on. This is genuinely a confidence issue. So by and large, we have got three key issues here, namely the lack of knowledge, language issue, and lack of confidence. Briefly, KLC, knowledge, language, and confidence. So if you can pick up spoken English, I can guarantee you, you will right away solve 2 out of 3 key issues. When you learn to speak English, it automatically enhances your confidence. English and confidence, these two are complementary to each other and go hand in hand. It will make you smarter, and I'm serious. Research shows that on an individual level, spoken English improves your personality and self-esteem. After all, this is the language spoken by the English people who once ruled over 60% of the entire globe. Those who aren't from English medium, it is little awkward for them. If you ask them to start learning spoken English, perhaps someone will ask for the right time, appropriate place, good tutor, language lab, coaching center, and English newspaper, so on and so forth. So can you tell me why are they so demanding? In fact, it reflects their lack of confidence. They are stuck in dilemma, they fear failure or rejection, so on and so forth. But I can tell you that you will never get the right time and environment to start something. Neither someone will offer you a magic wand that whenever you want or whenever you wave it and suddenly you will start speaking English. So then, how to go about this? There are many coaching centers, but I won't recommend you any. You know why? Firstly, tell me, is there anything so special in those centers that you can't arrange sitting in your home? Secondly, the module and the schedule followed by those centers may not suit you, may not suit your pace and progress. Rather, your pace and progress will be controlled by those centers, not by you. So instead, if you start learning English or start learning spoken English by yourself, you are so much in control in terms of your time, efforts and objectives. But the hardest barrier on your way to spoken English will come from none other than you. Isn't it quite strange? It indeed is. Your ability to deal with those will determine the success. Now let's break it down further to identify where from the sense of fear, rejection, failure and dilemma come from. Some of your worries and anxieties in the form of thoughts starts spinning in your head, like what others will think, my accent is not good, I'm weak in grammar, who's making fun of me, who's talking at the back, and things like that. So these are some of the issues that will hold you back, just like the back gear of a motor vehicle. But the truth is, when you face the fear, it decreases, and if you run away from it, it increases. As you start dominating your fear, it emboldens you with greater energy and your body language changes. So be positive, feel confident about it. Select few subjects and write short paragraphs using simple English and short sentences. ChatGPT can help you write your paragraph, but I would suggest you not to do that. I would suggest you better do it by yourself. Whenever you learn something in a hard way, you don't forget it, and it works as a constant reminder that I can do it. So subjects like my first day in school, journey by boat, journey by train, my village, aim in life, my favorite teacher, my hobby, my mother, memorable incidents should be okay to start with. So these are the subjects that you have been studying and writing in your school days. This will make your content easier and you need not to memorize those. Then practice those loudly. At first do it individually and then practice it with same-minded friends. If you have difficulty with your pronunciation, Google still can help you out. You can even record your speech in the mobile and listen to it over and over again and improve upon your pronunciation, pitch and style. So these will gradually help you in gaining confidence. It reminds me a veteran psychologist with military background who once shared a very wonderful perspective. Let me share it with you. He once said it is okay to shiver while taking tea sitting in front of your senior or teacher as long as you can sip your tea without spoiling the carpet. So you don't have to be a perfect conversationalist as long as you can communicate effectively. Remember, lack of confidence is not a perpetual state of affairs. I saw cadets while lecturing, it seemed like non-stop SMG firing, not because of their speech, rather their knees that were touching the rostrum that caused that unusual sound. But with practice, they turned out to be very excellent speakers. You can improve it by interacting with the seniors and strangers. Just recall how sweetly you can speak to the kids. How do you do that? The answer is simple. You have done those often enough, and therefore these are pretty much normal to you. I'm sure you can't be as normal as you've been with the kids while talking to a young girl. Can you? Perhaps not. Reason being, you haven't had enough opportunities to interact with them. So in life, we learn many things by watching and listening, but for something, you got to practically try it out. For example, writing. You can't be a writer listening or watching someone. Confidence building using communication skill is one such thing. From a fish sailor to a field marshal, everyone needs this. Just remember a few things: what, why, who, where, how before you start a conversation. Briefly, 4WH. Do this homework. It will help you to face any strangers much more easily than you thought. You can also plan to meet someone in the military, elderly citizens, government officers, people in the media, corporate sector, and cross-sections of people, and exchange views. These will empower you for any meeting, be it formal or informal in nature. Besides, I will also suggest you to have some knowledge on the regional history, how the Mughal Empire was set up, why the British changed their mind from trading to ruling India, how the Mughal Empire crumbled, the impact of British rule in this region, how partition of Bengal eventually gave rise to two-nation theory, rise of Bengali nationalism following the language movement, some of the names of the beach restores, Declaration of Independence, government in exile, name of the sector commanders, and so on. So role of superpowers in our liberation war, that will also help you to have a bigger picture. When you have all these big pictures in your head, things here and there in between will fall in place. Some data, facts and figures like GDP rate, density of population, birth and death rate of people, then percentage of people by profession, demand of food staples, doctor to patient ratio, police to people ratio. This can also be very useful in strengthening your argument. You should also have some knowledge on geography, a bit about the armed forces, including the current affairs. There can be a favorite subject-based basic questions and theories, right? And also simple maths, calculations. So if you can follow this, you should be able to do well in the Viva-Voci exam. Now you must be pondering whether it's going to work or otherwise. Let me decode this for you. This I tell to all my students, colleagues, juniors, kids, acquaintances, and everyone around when I get to engage them casually in discussion or talking. Sooner or later, every one of us have to push ourselves to the limit. Sooner it is better. Only then one is in a position to discover what are his strengths, weaknesses, and how far he can go in life, and all this. This kind of self-belief and understanding doesn't come being in the comfort zone. Once you have done it, you are someone transformed, energized, and full of positivity. Question is whether one can do it or not. Life is the most precious thing, right? Yet we see people taking their lives so easily. I personally hate this, but just citing it to say that when people can take their so precious life, why you wouldn't be able to take up this little step to make your life better? Let's give life an opportunity so that you may live a life that you dream. Here I end. Wish you all the best. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.